So now we will officially kick off the 2024 Citizenship Challenge. So on Constitution Day, we issued a challenge to 4th and 5th grade classrooms across the Commonwealth, and to answer a question of a constitutional nature. And this year's challenge question, as you quite well know, is, should the Constitution be amended to eliminate the electoral college system for electing the President of the United States and replace it with a national popular vote? Very timely question for this year, an election year. And it's a question that strikes at the very heart of how we as a nation choose our president. And as students in 4th and 5th grade, you have taken on the incredible task of exploring this complex issue using research and critical thinking. Today, not only will you showcase what you've learned, but you'll be giving us, the adults, some extra insight to that. We love to hear your voices. We are so proud of you and your hard work. We had a battery of judges, just to let you know the process. So we had over 200 essays submitted. From those essays, you represent the top 10 essays in schools. You're here at the National Constitution Center. We had round run of judges made up of constitutional scholars from some local universities and education from the state of Pennsylvania. They reviewed your essays and they came up with the top 10. Now today we have a very distinguished group of judges who will be listening and hearing your skits and asking you some questions. So that was the process that got us here. We're very grateful to our partners at the National Constitution Center and the Annenberg Public Policy Center for helping us in this endeavor. So remember, today is not just a competition, it's a celebration of all your hard work, and you all are winners because you made it this far. And included in the day's program will be a tour of the National Constitution Center. So right now there are 5 other schools that are touring the National Constitution Center. We'll flip-flop, we'll be all together for our award ceremony. So with that said, I'd like to introduce to you to our judges. The first judge that I'd like to introduce to you on the end probably needs no real introduction. It is Governor Edward Rendell. Governor Rendell. All right, round of applause, please. Governor Rendell was 2-term governor of Pennsylvania. He was mayor of Philadelphia, district attorney of Philadelphia, and head of the Democratic National Committee. So very experienced in elections. So I know he's excited to ask you some really hard-hitting questions, so be prepared. Next to him is the Honorable Margie Rendell. She is, round of applause. Oh, good, we'll make sure we're awake. She is a judge on the 3rd Circuit Court of Appeals, was also First Lady of Pennsylvania, and she's used to judging. And you'll hear a little bit more about her because she's going to do her own special welcome. And last but not least, we have an entrepreneur, a Philly-born native who went away to school, came back, and is now running a healthcare construction project agency. And he's excited to hear your voice because student voice really matters to us. One of the reasons why we created that challenge. So now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Judge Rendell to give you a more formal welcome, and then we'll get started. Judge Rendell?
Thank you, Beth. So as Beth said, I'm used to judging. And Ed Rendell is used to judging this contest because we are the founders of the Rendell Center for Civics and Civic Education. And as Beth said, this is our 12th year of having this contest. And we're happy that Ivan Watson, who, as Beth said, is a community leader and entrepreneur, to join us today to be a judge. He's new to this, and he was a little nervous. I said, hey, the kids are more nervous than we are, so there. But we're so excited to have you here. I must say, we have a lot of programs at the Rendell Center, and we'd like you to go on our website and see all of the things we do and encourage the teachers to do even more things that the Rendell Center offers. But I have to say, Citizenship Challenge is my favorite, and I know it's the Gov's favorite as well, because you all learn something about the Constitution and you bring it to life. Not only do you write an essay and all work together on this essay, come up with your ideas, but it's teamwork. And then you say, we're going to make it come to life. And I don't know, the Electoral College might be a pretty challenging thing to have come to life, but you certainly have done it in your essays, and I'm sure you're going to do it today. So we thank you so much for your participation, and there are no losers. There are winners, but you're all winners. You're the top 10 of over 200. So give yourself a round of applause before we even start. And whatever happens, and it's going to be very close. We've read these essays, and wow, they're really good. You learned a lot. You did research, and you learned how the Electoral College can make a difference. Some of you thought it was not a really good difference, because several times in our government, the person who won the popular vote didn't win the presidency because of the Electoral College. So a lot of you did research and figured out exactly why we have it, and you figured out why you thought it was good or bad. You came up with an opinion. And the younger you are that you're starting to form opinions and think for yourselves about what should go on in our government, that's what excites us about the Rendell Center. So we know you're anxious to get going. We know a lot of you have been up a long time really looking forward to this, but we thank you for your participation, and especially the teachers and parents who are here. You make this happen, and we really, really appreciate it. So having said that, on with the show.
Exiting, let's have McKnight Elementary School come on down. And our McKnight students are led by Mr. Patrick Frank.
Wednesday, November 9th, 2016, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I can't believe it's happened again.
What? What happened? The presidential candidate who got the most votes lost the election.
How does that happen?
Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, but she lost the Electoral College.
What's the Electoral College? It's not really a college. It's the system we use to elect our president.
Well, who came up with this system?
The day after the founding founder signed the Constitution, Tuesday, September 18, 1787, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, we just couldn't let the people decide. But isn't that why we broke away from England in the first place?
Yes, but we couldn't let them have all the power. They wouldn't know what to do.
And they wouldn't even know all the candidates.
Maybe we should have let Congress decide.
But wouldn't that give them too much power? Or the states too much power?
What we needed was a compromise. We weren't getting anywhere, and frankly, that convention dragged on long enough.
Do you think this will work?
That if the manner of it be not perfect, it is at least excellent.
I wish we could see into the future to see just how excellent.
Now the founding fathers have magically teleported to 2016. The debate begins.
Whoa, who are you? How'd you get here?
We're the founding fathers and we've somehow appeared.
Madison, Jefferson,
Hamilton.
Mason.
Well, we're glad you're here. There's a big problem we're facing.
Mason just said that he wished we could see into the future, and here we are.
Good, because we have a bone to pick with you.
What? We just signed the document. It's as good as new.
The Electoral College? What was that?
It was a great compromise. You kids are brats.
A great move in 1787, but times have changed, man.
Well, we made a system that could be changed. Can't you stick with the plan?
Good luck. We've tried more than 700 times. The amendment process is too hard. There's no compromise. We keep having candidates with the most votes lose.
It's like the people can't choose.
You ever played hoops and scored more points than lost?
What's hoops?
Never mind.
Well, what's the cost?
The cost? Hillary Clinton had more votes yesterday, but lost. She's not going to the White House any day.
Sometimes that's how it works, okay? That might have worked when we had 4 million people, but not today. Now the country has 330 million. Shouldn't they get a say?
Do the people know the candidates?
Yes, we know them too well. It's giving us fits.
How many candidates?
Just 2 for all the states. Just 2? Do they debate?
Yes, they do. On TV, and the internet keeps us up to date.
Well, we were worried about a Democratic mob. Well, now we have enough law enforcement on the job.
How many times has the presidency been ripped away?
5 times total, including yesterday.
Twice since 2000, to our dismay. But isn't it great to have candidates visit your state
And engage in debate?
That's the problem. They don't visit each state.
They only visit 7 or 8. The other states are decided way before Election Day.
So some voters feel they don't get a say.
If they live in California or Texas, their vote gets thrown away.
Not thrown away, per se, but not counted like PA.
All your points are true, but what could we do?
Where was your crew when we needed you?
It may not be working today, but we needed it that way.
Back in our day.
Sorry, guys, we have to be in our way.
Best of luck in the future. Hopefully it won't stay this way.
Everybody, start forming a line right here, all the way back.
All right.
You have a point of view. All of us. All right, grab a couple.
I like the fact,
Who else thinks they might answer? There you go. All right,
I'll pass it.
judges?
I like the fact that you answered the question that I actually asked the last time, which is why the founding fathers did what they did, because they were afraid that people wouldn't really know who the candidates were. That was good.
Yeah.
Ivan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Why do you feel that the votes are more equal under the popular vote?
Well, every person is equal, and they each have to have a vote. And some states have more people that are on one side, so some voters that are on the other side feel like they don't have a say in the vote. So sometimes it doesn't really work out. So some states like Pennsylvania, where it's kind of half and half, people feel like they have more say in the vote. So it's better.
Okay, anybody else?
I have a question. It's pretty obvious that you guys are almost unanimously for changing the electoral college popular vote. But what would the problem be in having a popular vote decide the presidency? Do you see any problem in that?
There's one problem, they would visit the states with more people, but it's still better than the Electoral College because they would visit more states than 7 or 8 because what?
Well, sure. The example you gave about California and Texas, no one visits them, and they're 2 of the biggest states in the union. Now, if it was a popular vote, it'd get a lot of attention. But there's one problem with just doing it on the popular vote. It's all right if you don't get this. A lot of our congressmen don't get it.
We'll give you a hint. Do you think we'd be in the middle of a recount if it was the popular vote? Do you think there'd be a lot of recounts? Probably. That's a tough one.
We seem to have a consensus of yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think of what happened in Pennsylvania. It took us 5 days or 6 days after the Senate election before we had counted a winner in the popular vote. It took 6 days just to recount one state. Can you imagine if it was a very close popular vote nationally and we had to recount every state? We'd be counting until Easter.
So there are pros and cons, but you've had good arguments for why you think the popular vote is better. So well done, well done.
If the popular vote was in play, then maybe they would have more people to count anyway, because they would know that there would be maybe closer votes.
Their vote
so
would
they
count
would have
more?
more people counting than what we have right now.
Right, and anything that increases participation by citizens is good. If you lived in California and it was raining hard on election day, and you know your candidate had no chance of carrying California, would you bother to go to the polls and vote? Probably not. But there are a lot of local elections that you'd be passing by. So we want to have a system where people are motivated as much as they can be to get out and vote.
Also, even if it was a popular vote and it was hard to recount it, even though it's hard to recount, it would still be a better system, even if it takes longer.
Okay, all right, well done, thank you.
Great, excellent job, round of applause. Good afternoon, National Constitution Center. All right. Are you ready for the award ceremony? Yeah. I want to make sure we have everybody. I think we're waiting for a couple more schools, but I believe I have Radnor. Is Radnor here? What about Upper Moreland? Lower Gwinnett? My friends from William Penn Charter School? All right, are my friends from Richboro here? And let's see, do I have Queen of Angels in the house? Abraham Jenks School? What about McKnight Elementary School? McKnight is fading fast. What about Greater Johnstown Elementary School? All right, I believe we're all here and my judges are joining us. They had a hard time. They're still disagreeing with each other. Before we do this, it is my distinct honor and privilege to turn the microphone over to I would consider him a great gentleman of Pennsylvania, up there with Benjamin Franklin. How's that, Governor, for an introduction? It has been my honor to work with him for probably going on 20 years now. And as I said to one of the groups, he is the genius behind this Citizenship Challenge. And he and Judge Rendell are the true geniuses behind the Rendell Center. And before I turn it over to him, Ivan, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's give Ivan a round of applause, everyone. Governor, the floor is yours.
Everyone, let me begin by saying there were no losers here today. And that is true because there were 200 schools that sent in bids to be considered for the finals and could have won. And all of you, the 10 schools that were chosen today, beat 190 of them. That's pretty good, pretty darn good. The winners.
Governor, if I may interrupt, your special guest has arrived to help you with the presentation of the checks.
All right. Well,
Now,
before...
and bear in mind, there are essays. So those of you who are here today, essays counted for a lot, and you didn't see those, you just saw the skits. So the grading is both the essay and the skit. So.
Before I announce the winners, I have a question. How many think that we should allow fanatics to have a vote in presidential election?
Oh, yeah.
All right. The fanatic will help us present the awards. Now I will give you a hint as to who won. I can tell you that the school who won will probably not be quite as anxious to get a photo with the fanatic because they're from Pittsburgh, the McKnight School.
McKnight!